Get your TikToks away from me.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 1st, 2021. This is episode 306. And today, Interfaith Ziggurat Popadope. And you know me, I'm not a lizard person, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. How was your weekend, Basil?
Oh, it was a working weekend. Yes, was very busy doing manual labor for church stuff. So it was busy. I'm tired. It's never ending. The work is never ending. But I'm just happy to be back doing the show here.
Cool. Well, did we want to mention real briefly the Silver Contest Award ended, and we will be figuring out a winner on Wednesday?
Yes. The entries are compiled, and, we like to make sure we do it right. So we'll need a couple of days to process, and we'll be announcing the winner of the Canary Cry Silver Giveaway on Wednesday. So make sure to tune in.
And I think Friday we'll announce another hashtag thing for the month of March. And there are a few people who wanted to provide their goods, and we'll compile a thing or figure out, what to do for the month of March in terms of the basket of prizes, I guess.
Another giveaway. Yeah.
Another giveaway.
So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you to producer Aaron Moffat for so generously making the 1 ounce silver coin available to fellow Canarians. And Aaron Moffat, keep an ear out because we'll be announcing the winner, and we'll hook you guys up and get it going. Yeah. All right. And before we get too far into this, folks, go ahead and take a second, like the video, subscribe. You know what to do.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
Woo!
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, it's time for the Flippy update. If you're new to the show, let me tell you, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use Flippy to talk about how robotics and AI are taking over the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. So today, we are coming from freenews.live. This is free news. You don't have to pay for it, Gonz. The headline is Humanoid Robot and Robotic Arm for Patient Data Collection Created. Dun, dun, dun. Robots that can perform basic medical tasks while supporting the work of doctors and nurses could be the future. This is the idea behind the 3D structural robots being developed and tested at Simon Fraser University. The research team programmed 2 robots, a humanoid figure with a robotic arm to measure human physiological signals. The robotic arm created using 3D printed origami structures, contains biomedical electrodes at the tips of each finger. When a hand touches a person, it picks up physiological signals, including an electrocardiogram, which tracks heart rate, breathing rate, electromyogram, which is tracking the electrical signals of muscle movements, and temperature. Here's a quote. The recent pandemic demonstrates the need to minimize human interaction between healthcare providers and patients. Sensory robots have the ability to measure important health information on behalf of future healthcare providers. Interesting thing there. Well, let me finish this real quick. The humanoid robot can also monitor oxygen levels, which can be used to monitor condition of those who develop severe COVID-19. Data can be viewed in real time on a robot monitor, or sent directly to healthcare provider. Scientists are planning further development and testing of the robot together with employees from the healthcare sector. At this stage, robots can passively collect information about patients, but over the next decade, it is entirely possible that AI-powered medical robots could play a more active role, interacting with the patient, processing collected data, and even prescribing medications. Doctor. Flippy's turning into a pusher man is what it is. So there you go. Another step in the robotic medical infrastructure. This story kind of touches on a few things that we like to focus on with the Flippy update. One of them is the anthropomorphization of robots in order to foster a better human-robot interaction. In this case, it's a hand. It's a human hand they've put on the end of this disembodied robot arm, which is interesting because as far as like the interface that a medical robot could use to collect this data, the human hand is not a necessity. It is simply just a way to trick the human into thinking that this robot overlord is just like them. Robots are people too, Gons.
Sure.
But the quote was interesting. This was from Woo Soo Kim, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechatronic Systems at Simon Fraser University. The recent pandemic demonstrates the need to minimize human interaction between healthcare providers and patients. I think the assumption they're trying to play off of here is like, oh yeah, we don't want patients to give doctors COVID. That's kind of the basic idea. But also the minimizing of human interaction with healthcare workers has never been a positive thing. I mean, that's why doctors have a very specific, skill set of bedside manner. You know, if you're in medical school, there's whole classes just based on, having a human interaction with your patient, because it's so easy to think of a patient as an object to be cured or a puzzle to be solved. And that might be okay in maybe a training or learning situation, but human beings need to be able to trust their doctor, and in order to trust them, the doctor's got to not treat them like an object of study. And so this is an interesting kind of flippy floppy they're throwing in here, which is no. We don't need any humans to do medical care. The patient can just sit there and be poked and prodded by an unloving, cold, calculating robot. Yeah. And then it mentions here, sensory robots have the ability to measure important health information, again, on behalf of future healthcare providers, which I think they're talking about time-traveling doctors.
Or doctors and nurses that are in a cocoon behind a glass wall.
Yes.
And they will use the prosthetic arm robot to touch you.
Yes.
Which, if I ever go into a doctor's office and I have this arm that wants to do things with me, I'm going to pull out my handy portable game of Operation. You remember that game?
Uh-huh.
And yeah. I'm gonna lay before this arm Cavity Sam, and I'm gonna say, hey, you got to at least pick 3 of the objects out of Cavity Sam without getting electrocuted before you touch me with that thing.
Prove yourself, robot arm.
And if it can't touch it, or if it does fail, then it'll electrocute itself and die. And so I win, and I'll raise my fists in the air and walk out.
Yes, this will be a pleasant interaction with your healthcare provider.
Yeah, go get your Operation board game, everybody. Get ready.
So yeah, is interesting. There, of course, robotics are worming their way into every industry. But there's always been the idea that there's just certain things that robots can't do that humans need insofar, at the very least, social interaction and things like that. Trying to replace doctors and nurses because robots are just cheaper is not a good way to go.
No. And along these lines, I did have a second one. I didn't know if you wanted to do it, but I thought it was, it's just relevant along the lines of Flippy. And, I've been encroaching into your Flippy space recently, so might as well continue to do that. This is TechCrunch.com. Space startup Gitai raises $17.1 million to help build the robotic workforce of commercial space.
Oh,
and if you look at the picture here, you have it looks like a robot that you'd see on Star Tours or something if you go to Disneyland, the one that drives your ship. But anyway, it says Japanese space startup Gitai has raised $17.1 million funding round, a Series B financing for the robotic startup. This new funding will be used for hiring as well as funding the development and execution of an orbit demonstration mission for the company's robotic technology, which will show its efficacy in performing in-space satellite servicing work. That mission is currently set to take place in 2023. Gitai will also be staffing up in the U.S., specifically as it seeks to expand its statewide presence in a bid to attract more business from that market. Quote, "We are proceeding well in the Japanese market, and we've already contracted missions from Japanese companies, but we haven't expanded to the U.S. market yet." And so, if you want a job of building machines that will replace humans in space, what was that movie where it was like there was a bunch of celebrities in it where it was a scary space movie.
A movie with celebrities in it.
I know. Gosh, what was it called? Somebody in the chat will know. Where it was like a...
You gotta give more details. You said scary space movie with celebrities.
Sandra Bullock was in it.
Okay. Not Interstellar. Gravity.
Gravity, thank you. Yes, Gravity. Yeah, that movie was all like, oh, space is scary, all this stuff. They didn't consider the robots that were going to do the job.
Yeah, it is interesting, too. I mean, of course, there's use for robots in so-called space, if there is such a thing. But kind of the whole inspiration for going to space, the thing that keeps the sort of the spirit of space travel alive is that, what's the point if human beings can't go there? If unmanned missions and things like that, you might have utilitarian purpose, like creating or fixing a satellite or something. But, the going to space has been a human endeavor. And what's the point if humans can't experience it?
How dare you assume that space is real, Basil?
I don't. I'm just trying to be inclusive to our space-believing audience.
I always said that regardless of whether it's like a real place up there or not, you can just consider it a different dimension because human bodies don't belong up there in the way, and just in our fleshly selves, even in the modern scientific paradigm, you got to go up there in a spacesuit. So I'm just saying, we don't belong there.
Well, humans are pretty, we have a habit of getting ourselves into situations that we were never meant for.
Yeah, apparently that is the story of human
space
beings.
Travel, underwater, podcasting. It's unnatural, man.
We're just supposed to be between the waters, the heavenly waters and the waters below. We're in between, a little bandwidth of life.
Stay in your lane, humans.
We are supposed to stay in our lane until further notice. The return of Jesus.
Rebellious.
I know. Well, we've been kind of tracking the animal rebellion. The animals getting fed up with humans.
Yeah.
And so we have a quick update here from roosters. And This is a story from The Guardian. Rooster fitted with blade for cockfight kills its owner in India.
Whoa.
Did you hear about this? This is crazy. Birds aren't real.
About this? No, it wasn't on CNN, so I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Heard about it.
You're just a pure CNN.
CNN only, man.
CNN
Everything else
only.
is fake news.
Rooster fitted with a knife for an illegal cockfight in southern India has killed its owner, sparking a manhunt for the organizers of the event, police said.
Wow.
They're looking for the people that organized it, not the turkey or the rooster. The rooster's still at large.
It's like Mama always said, never strap knives to a rooster.
Yep. The bird had a knife attached to its leg, ready to take on an opponent when it inflicted serious injuries to the man's groin as it tried to escape, officers said. Oof. The man died from loss of blood before he could reach a hospital in the Karamnagar district of Telangana state earlier this week. Local police officer B. Jivan told AFP. There was about 16 people who organized the cockfight, and yeah, there you go. And there's a picture of the blade that was allegedly strapped to the rooster, and it looks pretty gnarly. I mean, I don't know. That would hurt if you get hit with that thing.
Yeah, well, it's hard to have pity on this guy. It was like I said, if you arm your roosters, you're gonna get slashed.
Yeah, it's They're listening to too much Alice in Chains. They come to snuff the rooster.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know the song Rooster by American rock band Alice in Chains?
No, it's never really into Alice in Chains.
Even though you look like Lane Staley. Oh, am I giving away too much?
No, I am Lane Staley.
Oh, you
everybody.
are. Oh, yes, the guy who died of a heroin overdose.
You've blown my cover.
Yeah, Lane Staley wanted to get out of the rock and roll spotlight and start podcasting. That's the real narrative. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I just wanted to quickly mention that. But of course, the big story, or one of the big stories, is regarding the Pope.
Space Pope reptilian.
And here's a report from Reuters.
The ancient Mesopotamian site of Ur in Iraq will be the stage for an inter-religious prayer service held by Pope Francis next week, an event local archaeologists hope will draw renewed attention to the place revered as the birthplace of Abraham. Popular with Western visitors in the 1970s and 80s, Ur is scarcely visited today after decades of war and political instability shattered Iraq's international tourism industry. The global health crisis has also kept local tourists away. The State Board's Antiquities and Heritage Archaeological Director is Ali Kadim Ghanim.
We're counting on the Pope's visit because it will increase the number of tourists in the city of Ur. Not only tourists, but we believe there will also be more Christians making the pilgrimage.
Located about 200 miles south of the capital Baghdad, the site is made up of a pyramid-style ziggurat and a residential complex. It was excavated about 100 years ago by Leonard Woolley, a Briton who recovered treasures rivaling those found in Tutankhamun's tomb in Egypt. But little work has since been done on one of the world's oldest cities, a place where urban dwelling, writing and central state power began. The father of Judaism, Christianity and Islam, Abraham, is described in the biblical book of Genesis as having lived in the city. Now it's hoped that the Pope's visit will attract international attention to the site to fund restoration works on its palaces and temples.
There you go. That's the news report. And then Reuters, we can read the article. It's sort of the same type of thing that's mentioned here. But the Reuters headline, Pope's visit to Iraqi Ziggurat to bring together several faiths and hopefully lure more visitors.
Lure is an ominous term to use there.
I know. And, we've talked about the one world religion. I mean, not just us. It's been a topic of conversation for a long time. And the Catholic Church and the Vatican being the sort of organizers of that discussion, the interfaith and interreligious thing. And so this is just, it's one of those issues where 10 years ago we can say, oh, the Pope wants to establish a one world religion and bring all faiths together. And people would have been like, maybe, I don't know. But now it's just like, regular news that he wants to do that, and doing it at a location that is, it's got ancient ramifications. But I was doing a little study on Ur, and let's see, according to some, what book is this? I'm trying to find which document. I have a whole bunch of stuff from my Logos Bible software, but it says here that Ur, place name meaning fire oven, an ancient city in Lower Mesopotamia that is mentioned as Abraham's birthplace. Ur, Kish, and Uruk were three important population centers in Sumerian and Babylonian civilization. Abraham's family home is alluded to in Genesis 12:1 and Acts 7:2. The site associated with Ur is located in present-day Iraq in the lower eastern portion of the Fertile Crescent. It is identified with Tel El Mukayyar, some 350 kilometers, about 220 miles southeast of Baghdad. It was an important, like the clip said, an important location for Sumerian and Babylonian and Neo-Babylonian cultures. And the third dynasty of Ur was its most prosperous and highly developed period. Important remains discovered were Ziggurat and royal tombs. And furthermore, the ruins of the Ziggurat is from a god called so this is it's interesting because that document says Ur means fire. What was it? What did I just say? The fire oven. Fire oven, yeah. But another document says that Ur comes from the Sumerian phrase meaning abode of the moon god.
Whoa.
The great ziggurat of Ur held a shrine of the moon god Nana. King Ur-Nammu built the temple in the 21st century BC, which is interesting. 21st century BC, exactly the amount of time backwards in time before Jesus as forwards in time from Jesus where we are. And the Babylonian ruler Nabonidus reconstructed it in the 6th century BC. And then, of course, Sin, the Babylonian moon god. There was a cylinder, and I think I have a picture of it for those of you watching. There is a cylinder of the Mesopotamian moon god as a crescent moon above Ur-Nammu, king of Ur, in about 2040 BC. Sin's name is a contraction of the Sumerian phrase meaning Lord of Wisdom. He's also as Nanar and was regarded as the head of the pantheon of Ur. And this is like the home of pagan Sumerian satanic beginnings. It's like the place. And there was also in the Bible, I think there was Ur, U-R, was the father of Eliphal. He was one of David's mighty men. If you remember mighty men, the Nephilim in Genesis 6 are described as mighty men as well. So those are some notes that I gathered together from all my documents that I have available here. And this is the other part. There's one more thing here about Namu and Nana and the god, the moon god. They found some things there at the location, just some little buildings and stuff, and not the big ziggurat. But on one of the buildings, there's a picture of a king performing religious acts before the main gods of the Neo-Sumerian pantheon, including Enlil and Ninlil. And the lower part depicts construction of new buildings and irrigation canals. The scenes reflect Ur-Nammu's numerous public achievements, especially in the city of Ur. For instance, Ur-Nammu began constructing the Great Ziggurat, which his son Shulgi completed. This massive terraced building resembled a stepped pyramid and was dedicated to the moon god Nana Sin, the city's patron deity. So, yeah, a lot of ancient connections to all kinds of stuff.
If you're going to pay homage and take steps towards a one world religion, and that would be a place to do it.
Yep. And one more thing here. This is from the museumu.penn.edu. Just a little more info on the moon god. He was a tutelary deity of the city of Ur. His reach and importance, however, was greater than just the city. The moon god is clearly one of the most important deities in the wider pantheon of Mesopotamia. And the primary symbol of the moon god, do you know what it is?
The moon?
No. Think of a crescent moon upon a head of something. It was the bull. What year are we in? What
like
year are we in? We are in the year of the bull.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The result,
I know. The result of the horizontal crescent of the waxing moon appearing similar to the horns of that animal. The symbolism led, and think about that too, the whole insurrection of the Capitol building. The guy wearing the horns. I don't know, man. There's a lot of weird connections going on with this year. The symbol led to a consideration of the moon god as a cowherd, which is celebrated most clearly in the composition The Herds of Nana, the longest section of which enumerates the cattle of Nana's herd. An association with fertility may come from the moon god's connection to cattle, and also perhaps from the clear link to the menstrual cycle, roughly similar to the timing of the moon's transformations. The connection with fertility demonstrated in the old Babylonian birth incantations. The magical medical text, A Cow of Sin, relates the story of the moon god's beautiful and pregnant cow, Geem Sin. The
beautiful and pregnant cow.
Beautiful pregnant cow. The birthing pains of Geem Sin, or Geem Sin, are eased by sin, and the incantation ends with a supplication, quote, "May this woman give birth as easily as Geem Sin," suggesting this text's role as human childbirth. Interesting that they have a female cow giving birth to humans. I don't know what's going on, Basil, but it sounds a little like some Nephilim stuff going on.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So that's my little rant on the whole Pope situation.
Good rant. Yeah, no. And as you mentioned earlier, 10 years ago, putting out the theory that the Pope was trying to create a one world religion and unite all people under one ideology would just sound silly. And now it's just public knowledge. So.
Yeah. This is, we're going to have to watch what he does here. Like, what is he going to do? The Pope.
Yeah.
Is he going to light some candles or is he going to stand there with, the
ritual Islamic, must be completed.
Right. He's going to stand there with a priest of Islam and like a rabbi or something and hold a golden calf. Like what is the plan here? Or is he just going to have a podium and talk?
I don't know. But I mean, that'll be interesting. We'll jump on the live feed. But Gons, speaking of the golden calf.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about some politics.
Oh, yeah. Good transition. Politic.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politics.
We will launch a new age.
He's launching the new age, and it's gonna be interesting, folks. This is coming from usnews.com. The headline: with gold-colored Trump statue, conservatives show fealty to former president. Oh, wow. The article reads like this: U.S. conservatives praised Donald Trump at an annual gathering on Friday, even unveiling a golden statue of the former president, showing he remains a Republican political force despite violent scenes in Washington last month. Prominent congressional conservatives, including Senator Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, and Josh Hawley, and Representative Steve Scalise and Matt Gaetz, were among the Trump loyalists speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Orlando, Florida, which the former president will address on Sunday. Quote, "Let me tell you something, Donald Trump ain't going anywhere," said Cruz. Trump's tumultuous final weeks in office saw his reporters launch a deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th in an attempt to block Congress from certifying Democratic President Joe Biden's election victory, a win that Trump falsely claimed was tainted by widespread fraud. If there was any doubt that CPAC this year was devoted to Trump, the gold-colored statue of the former president, dressed in a jacket, red tie, and stars and stripes boxing shorts, was on display at the conference site.
They didn't mention the flip-flops. He's in red flip-flops on the little statue here.
You know what else they didn't mention? He's holding a magic wand.
Yes, with the star, with the
It is
Pentagram.
A really bizarre thing. I mean, first of all, of course, the immediate allusions to the golden calf and them using this gold statue, at least in the words of this headline, to show fealty to President Trump. But yes, he's got kind of a cute little American outfit there with some flip flops and some board shorts or something. But he's holding a magic wand, like a classic Disney magic wand in one hand with the stick and the star on top, which is weird.
That is very weird.
And then in his other hand, he's got a copy of the Constitution. So let's keep moving here. 2 participants wheeled the larger-than-life statue through the conference center lobby, according to a video on social media. It was unclear why the statue, showing a cartoonish version of Trump with an oversized head, was there. It's unclear why this is here. The statue drew instant derision online, with commentators comparing it to the golden calf that enraged the prophet Moses of the Old Testament. Quote, idol worship isn't conservative. Hashtag restore our GOP. Representative Adam McKissinger, one of 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump on a charge of inciting the January 6th attack, said on Twitter. Gates declared himself part of the pro-Trump America First wing of the conservative movement. Quote, we're not really a wing, we're the whole body, he said. He also appeared to forecast a future role for Trump, who is pondering another run for president in 2024. Quote, Trump may not have drained the swamp all the way yet. Okay. U.S. Senator Rick Scott, a Florida Republican who may run for the party's presidential nomination in 2024, sought to thread the needle between pledging loyalty to Trump and signaling his aspirations for higher office. Ooh, that's a dangerous thing to do, buddy. Rick Scott, you want to be very careful.
Yeah.
He said, quote, President Trump has flaws, but that he had made the party more approachable for working class Americans. Quote, we will not win the future by going back to where the Republican Party used to be, Scott said. If we do, we will lose the working base that President Trump so animated. We're going to lose elections across the country, and ultimately, we're going to lose our nation, not the past. And then it kind of goes into just more people talking about the same stuff. So there you go, Gons. We've Trump has officially been elevated to idol status in a literal sense.
The image of Trump. Yeah, the wand, according to witches and Wicca, is a phallic symbol that represents masculine energy, power, and virility. And
now, when you say wand, you just mean any wand or the wand with the star on it?
I'll put it together. So the wand itself, just any kind of magic wand, has that association. And, depending on your tradition, it's either associated with fire or air. But then to put the star on there, the pentagram on there, of course, the pentagram, having a pagan representation in origin. And it's changed throughout the centuries. Is it the
pentagram or the pentacle that is the right side up star?
Well, I'm looking at the pentagram here, and it's kind of the way they're showing here is it's not exactly the upside down star. It's more of a sideways star. So I don't know the exact, and I'm sure the meanings have changed throughout the Middle Ages and the Renaissance and Roman. They've been used for different purposes. But what's interesting here in early history, in Ur, 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 like we just talked about.
Yeah, like the thing we just talked about.
Yeah, in ancient Sumer. There's a monumental Sumerian script or cuneiform, a pentagram glyph served as a logogram for the word "ub," meaning corner, angle, nook, a small room, cavity, hole, or pitfall. And how do I pronounce this? Pentamikos, the 5 corners or 5 recesses, was the title of the cosmogony of Pherecydes of Syros, who was a Greek and Syrian thinker from the island of Syros. And the 5 corners where the seeds of Kronos are placed within the earth in order for the cosmos to appear. So it's almost like a creation power thing. And, of course, in the Middle Ages, it was associated with King Solomon, and, goes on, Renaissance, Romanism, it's changed. And again, in the symbolism, it's sometimes it's right side up, other times it's upside down. So like the man inscribed in the star, the pentagram star, or that's been used by Henry Cornelius Agrippa, De Occulta Philosophia Liberatres, and that's where that originates. Yeah. Then the upside down star is by Pythagorean. So again, it's been used for different meanings, but the bottom line is that it has to do with power and creation.
Sure. And just to finish out my pentagram versus pentacle, I've now been educated that pentagram is the star, the 5-pointed star. Pentacle is the 5-pointed star with a circle around it.
It's a circle. Because it's a circle. And and I think in Asia, in the Chinese tradition, in the Asiatic traditions, the pentagram has the 5 elements. So it's water, wood, fire, earth, metal. And again, just alluding to the power of creation, the power of physical matter. And so there you go.
Yeah.
the power of creation wielded by the wand of masculinity and virility with a giant golden statue of Trump.
This is just very interesting, man. A golden statue of Trump with the Constitution in one hand and a magic pentagram wand in his other hand.
And what's up with the flip-flops, though? Why?
You are pretty stuck on these flip-flops.
I'm just wondering why the person who created this chose the flip-flops if he's wearing boxers. Like
to give him a youthful look, It's cool, Trump.
Has anybody ever seen Trump's feet?
No,
I don't think he's ever shown
Legend
his feet before.
has it.
He's got 6 toes.
Doesn't even have. Yeah. There you go.
That's the big secret. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that's that, but that's not all. We did, or I guess Trump did present a little speech yesterday.
We will launch a new age.
It's his first time since getting out of office, right?
Yep. And this is NBCnews.com. Trump CPAC speech revives rigged election lie, declares political journey far from over. I don't know if I want to read the whole NBC report, but we'll get a few paragraphs.
Yeah, just start seeing what happens. I didn't see it, so I don't even know what he talked about.
Okay, Orlando, Florida. In a speech here Sunday to close out the Conservative Political Action Conference, former President Donald Trump teased his political future and repeated the lie that he won the 2020 election. Quote, I stand before you today to declare that the incredible journey we began together 4 years ago is far from over. The former president said in his first speech since leaving the White House, we are gathered this afternoon to talk about the future of our movement, the future of our party, and the future of our beloved country. And, they're just going to quote some stuff here. The one thing I did notice that he said was that he's not going to start his own party. That was fake news, according to Trump.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, that was conservative outlets saying that.
But he never even said that. That came from, I believe that came from something Michael Flynn said.
Oh, maybe.
Sorry, General Flynn.
Yeah, okay. There was a couple things that I wanted to play. I just have a couple clips from his actual speech here. And This first one, it's kind of interesting. This is the kind of thing that gets all the Q people riled up, Sure. So here we go. Let's check this first one out.
This alone should be reason enough for Democrats to suffer withering losses in the midterms and to lose the White House decisively 4 years from now.
Which makes it sound like he's going to run again, but people standing and cheering. Soak it in. Come on, get to it. Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm
Still
waiting
clapping.
for the line. Okay, Trump. Come on.
Actually, as you know, they just lost the White House, but it's one of those things. But who knows?
What?
Who knows? I may even decide to beat them for a third time. Okay.
What?
Oh, he's referring, he's
So
referring to the election.
This past election, and then that was the second time, and then the third time is going to be the in 2024. Is that what he's alluding to?
Sounds like what he's saying.
Okay.
I like on the stage above the screens, it says America Uncanceled.
Yeah, he was talking about cancel culture, and he talked about it like, oh, never heard that one before. That's a new one. Like, what? Where have you been, dude? The cancel culture has been a thing for years now.
Yeah, but what is interesting sort of line to be pushing? America Uncanceled.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily sort of an inspiring slogan to be pushing at CPAC there.
Yeah.
Is uncanceled even a word?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It
I
is
beg
now.
to differ, but okay.
It is now.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to get your SEO.
Yeah, let me
America
see if,
Uncanceled.
Uncanceled is a word, adjective, not canceled, according to the Merriam-Webster.
That's weird. Okay, all right. Well, cool.
Well, either that, or you're a victim of what's that? I always forget what it's called now.
What?
The thing where things change.
The Mandela effect.
Thank you. Yeah.
What if the Mandela effect name got changed?
Yeah, maybe.
Whoa,
That would be
it's
crazy.
the Mandalorian effect.
The Mando effect. Here's the other thing that I don't know how certain supporters of Trump ignores this, or I don't know. Just listen to this right here.
In fact, the director of National Institutes of Health, Francis Collins,
Yeah.
Fauci's boss, actually, I think he's a Democrat too, by the way, recently said that our Operation Warp Speed was absolutely breathtaking and that the Trump administration deserves full credit, which we do.
Did he say that?
I don't know, but that's really interesting that he
That'd
would.
be pretty crazy if he did say it.
Yeah.
Francis Collins, for those who don't know, is one of the three amigos of the pandemic between Gates, Fauci, and Francis Collins, the least known three amigo, who is, he's a really religious guy. He kind of represents the religious of the trifecta, the religion section there. And yeah, okay. Well, apparently Francis Collins is going to have some explaining to do to Fauci and his buddies.
So I have the Hill article here. Let me just throw it into the thing just to show it. TheHill.com. Fauci's boss praises Trump for breathtaking Operation Warp Speed COVID-19 vaccine development. February 24th, 2021. So apparently he did say that.
Well, that's hilarious because, of course, we've seen the Biden administration try to push this idea that they had to completely start from scratch on Operation Warp Speed, which they've actually been called out on many times in the mainstream. Like, what?
The video started playing.
Oh, yeah, even mainstream is like, well, you didn't really start from scratch. You didn't start from scratch and invent and distribute a vaccine in 27 days, Mr. Biden.
Yeah, this Hill video that started playing says, Changing America, Sustainability. Thought we're against the whole UN sustainable development thing, but apparently not.
Who, the Hill?
Oh, yeah, the Hill would be, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about Trump at CPAC there? Any more clips or anything?
No more clips for me to share. I know there's other things he said, but the sentiment, I don't even know how many people are still holding on to the whole Q type of narrative. It doesn't even have to be Q. It's just this Trump. It's become the Trump narrative.
Sure.
The Trump fringe, if you will. That
the hopium.
The hopium, yeah, that he's gonna, take over on March 5th, which we're coming up on here. It'll be this week. Would it be Friday? I think Friday's show we'll find out if Trump.
Oh yeah, March 6th was supposed to be when Trump gets inaugurated.
Was it the 5th or the 6th? I thought it was the 5th, but
I think it's the 6th. But either way, if it is the 5th, that'd be better because we could cover it live on the show.
Yeah. So some folks messaging me, relaying some of the information they're hearing about NESARA. NESARA's back into conversation. And
also just a correction. I think the 4th, March 4th, was supposed to be the inauguration of Trump. Yeah.
Really? Was it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I thought it was the 5th. Both of us are wrong. We're both scum.
Fact check.
Yeah. So yeah, this idea was that last week when the whole Federal Reserve financial system went down, that was the beginning of the replacement, the quantum financial system that's going to replace SWIFT and all that kind of stuff. And this is going to be the beginning of NESARA. They're gonna give all this money that apparently has existed from Saint Germain back to the people for an oath that you
who gets
serve
this?
Christ.
How do we get it? What do I got to do?
Anybody who wants to take oath with Trump that we're going to restore the Constitution. I have no clue. I don't know what the narrative is, but that's kind of what they're saying is that, they can announce it at any moment. It could be March 1st, which is today. It could be March 5th. It could be March 15th. NESARA could be announced to the general public.
Well, I mean, talk about inflation. If there's how much is there supposed to be? Like some crazy number,
quadrillions of
dollars being passed out to people.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I mean, you don't even need Biden for your mass inflation. You just inject quadrillions of dollars into the market, and that'll be a good way to make the money worth nothing.
Yeah, maybe this is a good moment to, because we did have a story in the second half of show about the economy rebounding, and it's from Business Insider. I'm just going to do it now just because we brought it up.
Let's save it after this next one because this next one has a quick connection.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So now, speaking of Trump, his inauguration on Thursday, and if not that, his 2024 running. This story was floating around and it was just trending today. And I think it's got some interesting stuff we need to go into. So I'm going to read it from CNN because it's more fun getting the CNN take on things, and especially when we kind of get the details. So this is coming from CNN.com. The headline is Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy sentenced to jail in historic ruling. And it reads like this. A French court on Monday sentenced former President Nicolas Sarkozy to 3 years in prison for corruption and influence peddling, but suspended 2 years of the sentence.
Nicolas Sarkozy is now the first French president.
This video started
maybe
playing.
We should just play a clip. I don't know. I'll keep going. President from 2007 to 2012. He was found guilty of trying to illegally obtain information from a senior magistrate in 2014 about an ongoing investigation into his campaign finances. The judge said Sarkozy did not need to serve time in jail. He could serve the sentence by wearing an electronic bracelet at home. The 66-year-old is the first president to have been sentenced to jail in France's modern history. The Paris prosecutor had requested a 2-year prison sentence and a 2-year suspended sentence for Sarkozy and his co-defendants, his lawyer Thierry Herzog, and former magistrate Gilbert Azibert. Herzog and Azibert were found guilty and handed prison sentences. After a lengthy investigation and legal entanglements, the trial began at the end of last year. The judge handed down Sarkozy's sentence Monday afternoon in front of a full courtroom. Dubbed the, quote, wiretapping case, it began in 2013 when investigators bugged phones belonging to Sarkozy and his lawyer Herzog in the context of an inquiry against Sarkozy. They discovered that the two men promised senior magistrate Gilbert Azibert a prestigious position in Monaco in exchange for information about an ongoing inquiry into claims that Sarkozy had accepted illegal payments from L'Oréal heiress Liliane Bettencourt for his successful 2007 presidential campaign. Sarkozy had begun eyeing a political comeback for France's 2022 presidential election, and many from his party, Les Républicains, in support of his return. Senior Pierre Sharon had said it would be a dream to have the ex-president run again, and that he hoped Sarkozy would once more play an important role. Sarkozy briefly left political scene after his failed bid for re-election in 2012 and after his failure to win the conservative primaries in 2016. Though he never officially said he would run in 2022, pundits believed that with no clear leader on the right, Sarkozy had a chance of once again becoming the party's candidate. The Conservatives' 2017 presidential bid was derailed after their candidate, former Prime Minister François Fillon, was accused of misusing public funds. The scandal gave way to Emmanuel Macron's victory, and Fillon was later sentenced to 5 years in prison and given a 10-year ban on running for office. All these French politicians getting prison sentences it's an unknown feeling here in America. We wouldn't know what to do if a politician actually had to go to jail. With the left still in tatters, blah, 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 blah. So this is very interesting. And it's got some interesting parallels to our own situation. So Sarkozy was president, and then he lost his second run and was planning to run again in 2022, but instead got prosecuted, and although he's not going to spend any time in jail, he, officially has been prosecuted and sentenced. And I just thought this was interesting because this is like the American Democrats' dream come true if it happened to Trump. It's like the exact story of what the left wants to happen to Trump. He loses his re-election bid and actually gets prosecuted, and which would stop him from running in 2024. And of course, with the guy's age being 66 years old, you have to consider some messaging with this story. I don't know, man. I think they're onto something here.
Sure. Although it's interesting that he lost in 2012 and his next run at it was supposed to be a decade later. Is that because of the cycle, or how many years are they in office usually?
I don't really know much about theirs. I'm assuming that the current Macron here had a couple of terms or something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
not
interesting.
Not quite the one-term break that Trump would be going for, but
yeah, I mean, timeline-wise, Trump has the advantage in the context of the political sort of staging that we have here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is interesting. It is sort of a model of, like you said, what the left-wing, liberal progressives would love to see. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what comes of it, because I just don't see Trump actually getting sentenced to anything illegal in the same way that the Hillary and Bill and those guys are never.
A politician actually being prosecuted for something is sort of a mythical notion. I'm
wondering if there's, and this, just speculation here, but I wonder if there's something else that is, something else about this guy, because I don't know much about French politics. I don't know about you, Basil, but it hasn't been my my go-to deep reading of French politics there, but
sure,
it could be that he is allowing this to happen to misdirect or to cover up something even worse.
Who's
like,
allowing it to happen?
I mean, this French guy, the former president, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll go to prison. I'll do, I'll be arrested for this illegally obtaining information from a senior magistrate in 2014. So long as you don't release the tapes. You know what I mean? Like a bargain. So you never know with this kind of stuff. Especially
we literally
in
could not know if that was the case. It is interesting though that the one difference is that his alleged crimes or his convicted crimes happened in 2014 after he was president.
Yeah, and they're now doing it.
It would be
7
as
years
if,
later.
Right. It would be as if Trump committed some sort of crime this year or next year, and then like 10 years down the line they prosecute him. I don't know, man. I just thought it was an interesting parallel, and especially you got to pay attention when you have 33 or 66 signaling in there as well.
Yep. I think he's covering up for something else.
You think?
I don't know. That's just my hunch.
Sarkozy is covering up by getting convicted.
Yeah, like, hey, I'll be convicted, but again, don't release the P tapes.
I think that's assuming he has a lot more power than he actually does. I'm not sure if other countries operate on the same apotheosis concept that the US does, where presidents are, regarded, even ex-presidents are regarded as some sort of god.
Well, not even that. Not that he himself, that Sarkozy himself is making the decision in terms of whatever. But if he was presented an ultimatum, maybe he took the less embarrassing one or something. I don't know. That's just
it.
Me.
Certainly is an intriguing proposition that you are making up.
Sure. We will find out later who is right. We should have
all right. Let's hear more about
notes.
your Nisara thing. I want to get my money.
Okay, well, all right. So I was gonna do this story a little later, but might as well just dump it in here. And this is actually from Business Insider, and the headline of the article: "Everything is about to get more expensive. It's a crucial next step for the U.S. economic recovery."
Crucial.
Okay, so the economists on the fringes have been saying, "Hey, hyperinflation incoming for the U.S. dollar" for years.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what it says: "Experts are growing increasingly hopeful the U.S. economy will rebound in 2021, but there's a price to pay for that. The price of most things, actually. The vaccine rollout, a $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and a lift in spending from December's smaller stimulus paint a promising picture of a roaring, reopening America with lively restaurants, indoor dancing, and crowded stadiums. The economy is set for stellar growth as the pandemic subsides," a Bank of America note stated Monday, while boosting its 2021 GDP growth estimates to 6.5% from 6%. It could all be the biggest boom time in the U.S. economy in a generation, but not without a cost. While history indicates that the U.S. likely won't see an overheated economy after Biden's massive stimulus package launches, Wall Street is predicting that certain goods and services might become more expensive. JP Morgan's David Kelly wrote in a recent bank note that high demand could, quote, boost prices across a range of services as the pandemic recedes over the summer. Quote, maintaining inflation at or above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. And Mark Hafele, the chief investment officer of global wealth management at UBS, wrote on Tuesday that while fears are persistent, rise in inflation are likely overdone. The bank is predicting that inflation may spike in the short term. Quote, if pent-up demand emerges, prices could even rise above their pre-pandemic levels, Brian Rose, senior economist at UBS Global Wealth Management, told Insider. This may not be friendly news for Americans' wallets, but higher prices and demand for commodities without overheating is a sign of a healthier economy and a crucial next step towards the U.S.'s economic recovery. Rising Treasury yields, a famous barometer for future inflation, were in evidence this week And Wall Street economists see signs that everyday essentials like houses, gas, and healthcare are about to get more expensive.
Great.
And they keep going here. There was a line here about how it was basically saying that that's a good thing. We're going to have inflation, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny part about it is, back when the original stimulus stuff was coming out, they were ignoring the inflation.
Right.
No, we got to give Americans all the money. Inflation, and to be fair, it's still a very complicated thing. And I think as far as the stimulus packages go, it's not that. I mean, it has an effect, but not one that would, end the economy. But, if we get our quadrillions of Nasara dollars, that'll certainly make prices go up.
I know. It's going to make everything go up. Rates on, higher yields can be the canary in the coal mine for commodity prices. Taking a rip out of our whole situation here. And so what does all mean for the Americans' wallets? Well, the answer largely depends on what Americans want to spend money on the most. A UBS note this week predicted that largely looks like entertainment, personal services, and education, all key drivers in the experience economy. Quote, the biggest price increases are likely to be seen as a rebound to normal levels in those services that have been hit hard by the pandemic, Rose said, citing airfare and hotel stays as examples. Gas, too, is going to get expensive, a recent Jefferies note revealed. The energy sector has already seen 23.6% increase in CPI, a bigger uptick than any other industry as cars increased in popularity during the pandemic. Oil prices increased from $40 a barrel.
Cars increased in popularity during the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a weird
What a weird thing to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
How did cars increase in popularity?
I don't know. People had more time to look at cars and buy them.
Not drive them, but look at them.
Yeah. So it talks about mortgages and housing. More expensive, but in a good way. Since price increases will be driven by stronger demand, Rose says, it's a, quote, encouraging sign that the impact of the pandemic is waning and life is returning to normal. Life is returning to normal. Hyperinflation for all.
Yeah, this is some great double speak.
It's crazy.
Of course, prices going up is good for the corporations and the quote unquote stakeholders. But yes, this is them trying to convince the slaves that higher prices means things are good.
It means we're healthy. We're post-pandemic now. The Fed has indicated it won't raise rates until it sees progress towards full employment, which is crazy because isn't it at 0% right now?
Employment?
No, Fed rate. Fed's rates right now. I think it's at 0.
I did not know if it's at 0%, I'm going to go get some loans right now.
Go borrow some money from the Fed.
Yeah.
Once inflation runs hot for a period and unemployment declines, the central bank will move towards tamping down on inflation with higher interest rates. Yay! Central banks are going to save the day. They're going to lower everything once everything gets too hot and out of hand. Quote, the market is saying growth is going to be higher, therefore labor market slack is going to disappear a lot quicker than people were anticipating, she said, and therefore, the Fed will actually hike earlier than expected, and by hiking earlier than expected, we're not going to see inflation take off, allegedly. So, I mean, this is just, again, it's just crazy to say that, in the bullet points, experts say economy won't overheat, but more demand for things like homes and gas means higher prices. This is a good thing. Inflation like this is a sign of a return to normal and healthy economic recovery. Hey, it used to cost $40 to get a tank of gas. Now it's going to cost you $80, but that's good. It's a good thing. It's good for the economy. It's just madness. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they're trying to spin it like that. And that's why Bitcoin, I mean, just for the short term. Not saying Bitcoin's to solve every problem, but we'll get to Bitcoin a little bit later and what Bill Gates said about it. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to tie that in there because you brought up Nasara. And, certainly if they decide to give everybody, millions of dollars, in some kind of
Who
weird...
is they again? Who's giving us the quadrillion dollars?
I don't know.
Good guy secret society?
White hats from the inside. The one rebel
Illuminati.
Rothschild that wants to spread the wealth to the rest of humanity. I don't know. It's not that it's a bad idea. It's just that I don't think it's going to happen. And
we were talking before this, before the show that. I had not heard the term Nisara and Gesara, but I was telling you a story about, I think it might have been even slightly before we started doing the show, or right around the time we started doing Canary Cry Radio in 2012. There was, I don't really know how to say it, but basically this same Nisara Gesara thing was going around. Yeah. And there was some high level... Not high, I don't know. When I say high level, you think of like, I don't know, Joel Osteen or Billy Graham or something. But there are some apostles, they were calling themselves, going around telling people that...
like Christians, people within the faith.
Yes, they were people in the faith. They were Christians. And they were going around. And I remember being in a group where they came and told us basically this, where there's a bunch of hidden money and the Lord is releasing it. And it's this really weird financial, hullabaloo that the Lord is going to use to fund the work of the kingdom. And it's all going to be given out in Iraqi dinars for some reason. And I was at the time was like in a group that was in direct conversation with these people, and everybody took it very seriously, and you had to like open up special bank accounts to receive your secret money. And, of course, none of it happened. So again, much like the, what was it that the USA Inc., the USA Corporation thing, and the switch from the government as a corporation to the real government, that whole story that was surrounding the Q story back in January. And we pointed out that same exact storyline was being replayed from about 10 years ago. And that's the same thing with this Nisara Gesara thing. This exact same storyline was played back in 2012. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I wouldn't hold our breath for our quadrillions of dollars.
No, and I remember some folks that ran in our circles talking about how they bought a bunch of dinar, thinking that this was going to take place. And in 2012, I believe it was 2011 going into 2012, or maybe it was right after. It might have been right after, because it was David Wilcock. He's a New Age guy who was all about like, we're going to have a dimensional rift hit us on December 21st, 2012. And all of humanity who are good by 51% are going to ascend, and we're all going to evolve instantaneously into these ascended higher beings. That was his message.
Right.
Which obviously did not take place unless you believe that we did, which I didn't feel anything different. But he was saying that, they're the same kind of talk. They're going to arrest the bankers. It's all going down. It's literally the carrot on a stick that's been there in the conspiracy world. This white hats are going to take out the bad guys narrative. It's been there for a long time. And it's just changed forms. Like, now it's Q, now it's Trump, now, whatever. But back then it was just the good guys in government. And
well, it's interesting. I find the timing interesting too, because a lot of these storylines were playing 10 years ago in the conspiracy circles. But, as of recent times, of course, that circle has grown, and there's a lot of new people who are waking up. So those storylines, they can get repeated, and there's a bunch of, new, fresh blood to get people to buy in. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're still in the realm of politics. I wanted to bring a couple things from China here.
Welcome to Chinese News!
This is from WashingtonTimes.com. There's a really short, cheery article titled, "CCP Started and Won This War."
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Real encouraging.
Can't say I'm not surprised.
No, but here's what it says. It should be obvious at this point that we just experienced World War III, and 85% of the world, especially the U.S., has lost, and apparently will continue to lose.
I missed it. I've been keeping an eye out for World War III for a while.
Yeah, according to Trump, we just keep winning. We keep winning. All we do is win. I don't know. The generals are all developing new high-tech widgets to fight the last conventional war. You could not have wrought this amount of destruction with a conventional war. In fact, you might have experienced less damage with a couple of well-placed nukes. The Chinese Communist Party won. To think they did not have the same infection level as the U.S. is beyond idiotic. Lockdowns had no effect on infection rates, and every study has indicated as much. The CCP simply has the population to tolerate the virus's mortality rates. It is a proverbial drop in the population bucket. It was an evil stroke of brilliance to get the World Health Organization to drop its 2019 guidelines, which were based on sound scientific data spanning a century, and follow the propaganda put out by the CCP. The CCP even spread propaganda criticizing the governments that did the right thing, Sweden among them. The tech oligarchs are of course complicit because you cannot do this without information control. So are most of the world's media empires, which in many cases have financial ties to the CCP. The whole globalism idea is now just a new form of high-tech digital colonialism with the CCP in the driver's seat. China has the most people, and they do not have to build expensive military hardware. Why waste the time with military expenditures when you can control the rest of the world so easily with such little effort? That's it. That's the note.
Okay.
That's the analysis opinion. China wins. We lose. And we're going to keep losing.
It's through their sort of financial control of the big tech stuff that they won
They're
the
saying,
war.
Yep, they're saying, yeah, the pandemic on top of all of the control of big tech oligarchs. And
yeah.
I mean, it is kind of a succinct point.
Yeah, the thing I don't track on this article is talking about how, China's deaths from the pandemic were a drop in the bucket. And yet, even with the US, who has the most, allegedly, the most COVID deaths, our yearly death rate has changed almost none at all.
Not at all.
As far as the yearly death rate goes, I mean, I think we're like 1% higher or something.
I don't think it was even that much. But,
yeah, it's just ridiculously small amount of growth in death. So, like, I don't know. They're in this article, they're playing it like, oh, the world's population is just devastated. The U.S. population is just completely shredded. And it's the exact same death rate we've always had. So I don't know. This sounds like somebody trying to cause ripples.
Sure. At the same time, I can understand the sentiment because the CCP did. It appears it did establish more power over a lot of the world. It did get a little bit more influence
in things like the Davos summit and international leadership communities. It seemed to have taken a more prominent role.
Yeah. And I think as time passes, whether, because he says World War III, other people have said a Cold War that we've been in with China, the US and the West. And I think that's more accurate, that it's more of a Cold War than a World War III that people are expecting. But as kind of a tie-in with this, China's doing some stuff with drones, just real briefly.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
GlobalTimes.cn, Chinese legislator urges enhanced drone usage in border regions.
Love it.
Yeah. And it says here, real briefly, Chinese legislator who leads a regiment in the country's southwestern border defense front line will submit a proposal at the upcoming 2 sessions suggesting that China should enhance border management and control by deploying more smart equipment like drones, as his experience and research indicate huge room for improvement despite the wide use of such devices by the People's Liberation Army.
So the Northwest, did it say? Border guy? That's the border with like Tibet and Afghanistan.
It says southwestern border.
Oh, southwestern. That would be India.
India, yeah.
Yeah.
To tackle current issues, which include the short endurance, high dependence on weather conditions, and insufficient payload capacity resulting from the initial commission of only easy-to-use small drones, the PLA could use more sophisticated, larger drones in its arsenal, experts said on Sunday. And yada, 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 just more stuff there. They do mention Tibet. And I think we're just going to see more and more fortress building by different nations and the corporations that are complicit with that. It'll be interesting to see if the corporations, as they gain more power, whether they just merge with certain nations like China to build that kind of fortress, or if there are going to be geographical changes to certain nation states as they fall to not just other nations, but companies, which is, again, not just something that I outlined in Age of Deceit 3, but like prophetically talking about the beasts and stuff and how it may not be countries as we've always interpreted them, but this type of corporate / government type of situation that we see through a technology company. And China is really that model. They are sort of, there's no ethical boundaries with their technology. And so as they roll out new tech and apply and implement that technology into various sectors, including the military, other nations are just going to have to set aside ethics if they want to maintain any kind of sovereignty, otherwise, because the U.S., just as an example, a lot of the tech companies are complicit with the progressive liberal movement, which is, we've established fairly well that the CCP have infiltrated that arm of government in the U.S. here, and they have a good influence on, not good, but like a good amount of influence from that side of the aisle. And to combat it, how do you combat somebody that doesn't have any kind of ethical boundaries with their technology as somebody that has ethical boundaries, And I feel like this is all prophetic in that, in the end, Revelation 13 talking about, the saints are going to be conquered by the beast, and if you get taken into captivity, to captivity you will go. Stuff like that. It's not encouraging per se, but it's kind of like, yeah, this is meant to happen, folks.
Yeah.
And
well, and of course it's interesting as China continues to bully its neighbors and take over the region, just that slow spread of almost, military. Of course, the border between India and China is it is quietly one of the most distraught borders in that part of the world. They got they're blasting each other with the microwave cannons, and now they want to get more drones up in the air, things like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the left, the liberal side of the political aisle in America, just let China do its thing. It's a cultural difference, as Biden was talking about.
Yeah.
Genocide against the Uyghurs. How could we, pretend to know better, what's better for them than they do? And, just kowtowing to China. When at the same time, there's some of the most militarily aggressive, genocidal, perpetrators of, taking people's freedom, their own people and the people of other countries. And yet on the left here in the U.S., we can't say anything bad about those sweet little Chinese guys, or else they'll stop making our iPhones.
What's interesting too, though, the from the outside world, when I say outside world, like not the U.S., the U.S. for many, many years was seen as like the bad guy. We go into other nations, we occupy, we kill people, so it's not that we're so innocent here in the United States in terms of our military. We've You've done quite a bit of...
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's what they use to say that what China is doing is okay.
Right.
It's that whataboutism that we're not supposed to, get into.
We take over countries, so they can take over countries.
Okay, they can take over countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, more more drones coming your way, China.
Chinese drones.
Whee!
Obama loves those Chinese drones.
He does.
He's like, they do good.
What?
Nothing. Are you ready for a break?
I didn't want to interrupt this awesome Biden impersonation.
Or Obama. Obama, not Biden.
What did I say? Oh,
you said Biden. Same thing. Same thing. All right. Let's take a break.
Should we take a quick break?
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're just going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got our 33 updates. We've got some, we're going to be talking about satanic Eurovision. You don't want to miss that. Let's see here. Bill Gates has an update on Bitcoin we're going to need to pay attention to, as well as some new deepfake news. I would say maybe some of the most important news of 2021. Is the deepfake. So keep an eye out for that. But first, we are going to take a second and thank some of our producers. And for those who are new to the show, you might be thinking, producers, what have I gotten myself into? Yes, producers, because we are on the value for value model, folks, where you may have noticed no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no trying to sell you subscription underwear or food packages. That's because here we believe, as does the father of advertising belief, Edward Bernays, that advertising and marketing is a form of mind control. And not only that, but advertisers, the very foundation of advertising and marketing is world building, creating problems so that you can pay them to fix it. And in today's world, of course, we know that advertising has been used as an excuse for censorship, big data collection, privacy concerns. Truly, advertising is one of the most evil forces that has taken over the world as of late. And so we decided that in order to keep doing the show, we certainly could not rely on advertising. It would be completely antithetical. Is that a word? Antithetical to what we stand for on this show. In very plain terms, we get, as I've mentioned before, we get a lot of offers to advertise on the show, and we've never taken one of them, which makes our wallets hurt a little bit, but at least we can sleep at night. And instead of letting a corporation pay for your media and thus have control over it, we encourage all of our listeners to this show and of all shows that not to rely on the feeding of the what am I trying to say? Not to rely on big corporations and advertising to pay for the media that you trust and care about. Instead, it is an opportunity for listeners to take some responsibility for breaking away from the advertising stranglehold and to imagine a world where you can consume media in a different way, not with an ideology behind it that turns you, dear listener, into a commodity to be packaged up and sold to advertising companies for our own personal gain, but instead for you to take your own media future into your own hands and become a producer. And that's what we do here. It's called Value for Value. We create value. We do it 3 times a week, and we like to think we do a pretty good job. And if you tune into the show, whether you tune in once a week, 3 times a week, and no matter how long you've been doing it, it's simple. If you want to become a producer and keep the show going, you just put value back in. And that can be done in several ways. The first way is financial. And remember to thank your producers today, folks, because it's because of the producers we're able to keep doing this show. And it's very simple. Whatever value you get out of this, you put it back in, and it just keeps going. A lot of people like to put special numbers on it, numbers that are important or fun. Some people just, time it out. We do about 8 to 10 hours of show a week. And what is that worth to you? Go ahead and jump on in, become a producer, because that's the only way that the show keeps going. So I want to take a second and thank some of our producers. We're going to start by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And Gonz, are you ready to thank some of our Patreon producers here?
The gong is set.
The gongs. Okie dokie. Well, first over on the list, we've got a couple new producers over on Patreon. First, I want to thank producer Taylor H.
Thank you, producer Taylor.
Thank you very much, producer Taylor. Next, we have producer Danielle L. Danielle L.
Thank you, producer Danielle.
Thank you very much. And next, we have producer Lavinya.
Thank you, producer Lavinya.
Yeah, Lavinya. And I will mention, Lavinya actually became a producer on February 28th and then actually increased producership on the 1st. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Next, we have patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. Canary Cry Radio is our interview style show. It is a separate show from this one. So go search out Canary Cry Radio. You're going to love it. And we have a new producer over there, and that is producer BNGTNGO. Bing Tango.
Thank you, producer Buntungo.
Thank you very much. Now, here's the thing, folks. If you don't like Patreon, that's okay. A lot of people don't like Patreon, and we support you. That means you can head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support has plenty of other ways to support the show. First of all, you can become a monthly producer, and we are so grateful to our monthly producers for helping us lay down a firm foundation for the show. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can come in with a one-time producership in any amount. And there's also cryptocurrency, and you can learn about the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames there. But Gonz, who do we have coming in on PayPal?
PayPal. First off, thank you to all the recurring producers on PayPal and Patreon. I don't think we thank the people that are subscribed on Patreon enough. We mention the names of new people, but we do have people that have stuck with us on the different subscriptions. And so we just want to thank you. But also from PayPal, first up here we have Cheryl T.
Thank you very much, producer Cheryl T.
And Cheryl had a very interesting amount, $19.84. I think she's trying to signal to us.
Yes, 1984.
Yeah, George Orwell. Next, we have You Have Been Bush Protected Again.
Bush Protector coming back.
Coming back. Now with the longer title, You Have Been Bush Protected Again. So thank you, producer. You have been Bush Protected again.
I feel so Bush protected.
Me too. Are they from the band Bush? Do you remember the band Bush?
Maybe they're the band Bush's Bodyguard.
Maybe. Okay. Next up, Samuel A. with a pocket full of sevens.
Thank you very much, producer Samuel A.
And next up, we have
Samuel, or is that Saul?
No, Samuel. I think it's Samuel because we have a Saul. I think Saul came in. Well, Saul A coming in as well with a pocket full of sevens.
There he is. Thank you very much, producer Saul.
Yeah, we got.
And thank you, producer Samuel. Sorry, I got you confused with Saul.
I think it's two different people, unless it's split identities, in which case we'll pray for you.
There goes Gonz conspiratizing again.
Hey, multiple personalities is not a conspiracy. It is a fact of psychology. Okay. Next up, we have producer Lynn K. Thank you, producer Lynn K. And she gave us a note, and she said, "Hey guys, I upped yours. LOL, sorry. Couldn't miss that one considering the last show. Anyway, I upped the amount and having deleted my monthly recurring, so would you please, from your end, laugh out loud, get it, all the jokes, do whatever you have to do to make that recurring happen. I think you have to do it from the user end, right? Or is it? Yeah,
well, producer Lynn in this note says that we can do it on our end. I don't know. We've never done that before, but we'll try. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll look into that. Okay, and I was told that whoever they donate to can do that. Please make it happen. You guys are loved and so looked forward to during the long weeks, especially, or at least since I came on board just about a year ago. Mm-hmm. I'll be approaching that damehood deal in April. There you go. God bless you guys and keep looking up. Lynn K. Thank you, Lynn, producer Lynn. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much, producer Lynn K.
And if you become a dame, that you would be the second Dame Lynn. So you have a Dame Lynn there.
Dame Island girl.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, producer Vladimir coming in with the year amount, $20.21. And he has a note. You do good work. Love, Jesus, peace.
Oh, good try, Gons.
That's my Russian.
Vladimir, of course, is our KGB operative over there. Thank you so much, producer Vladimir. You do good work. Love, Jesus, peace.
Yeah, maybe a little more vodka in me to really slide into that accent. Okay, and then we already thanked Saul. Thank you, Saul.
I have something maybe we should bring up, and I might be interested in getting the producer's take on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe we should talk about it first. I'm wondering if we should start reading amounts, if people want us to do that, you know? Because of course we kind of default to not reading every piece of information that comes in for our producers, just as our general default. And usually we will read amounts that come in if they are special amounts, like if it's a 33 or a pocket full of sevens or 1984, something like that, you know, a meaningful number, just because it's fun. So I don't know. If you're out there and you are a producer, I would be interested to hear what you think. Send us an email at canarycryradio@protonmail or canarycryradio@gmail and let us know. Is that something we should start doing, reading all the amounts, or maybe reading amounts, I don't know, over a certain amount? I don't know. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, it's a good thing to throw out there.
Yeah, because, you know, maybe some people don't want it read, but maybe some people do, you know, and it might inspire others.
Yeah. That's a very, very poignant thing to put out there. And yes, we will accept your recommendations, producers out there.
Give us your thoughts. Send us an email.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Other ways to support the show, you could do it with crypto, and we have one crypto producership today. Somebody sent us 20.9 XRP tokens, and I'm wondering if that was the individual in the chat from last episode.
Probably I didn't catch the name. I was trying to remember what the name of that person was. I forget.
Yeah, XRP is a cryptocurrency out there, put out there by the company Ripple, and I think the SEC sued them.
Yeah, something nasty was happening.
Yeah, they're not in a good situation right now, but you know, the XRP army will defend them, and we'll see what happens with that whole thing. But thank you. We appreciate the 20.9 XRP tokens that was sent to us. Mm-hmm. You can go to canarycryradio.com/crypto to learn a little bit more about why we even talk about cryptocurrencies. In general, we're not, you know, we're I don't know what we're called. We're kind of like responsible crypto enthusiasts, I would say. We're not saying that crypto is going to solve the world's problems, but Bitcoin does interest us in a way that
And in fact, it will cause more problems. But, at this point, anything is better than our fake fiat system that is completely controlled and used to keep people down, man.
Yep. Timestamps. Jade Bouncerson continues to do a great job with that. Thank you so much. I know how time consuming that is. If anybody wants to step in and donate their time or talent in that regard, we'd appreciate it. You can either email it to us or you can leave it in the comments section of either video that you see on YouTube or the YouTube channel, Face Like the Sun channel or the Canary Cry Radio channel. I don't know how it works on Twitch, but regardless,
it's not a thing on Twitch.
Yeah, it's not a thing on Twitch. And eventually we'd like to do chapters on podcasting with Podcasting 2.0 out there. Yeah, we keep talking about it, but we never get to it. You can send us your jingles, which we don't have any today, but we do have some art to share with you.
One art, please.
And this first one is from producer Allie, and the note on it says Allie's drawing for today is about the Chinese using backdoor COVID testing policies.
What a polite way to put
very
that.
Polite.
Good job, Allie.
And procedures on American diplomats, and it shows an Asian man. I don't think that's me because I'm not Chinese, but kind of resembles me a little bit.
A little bit,
yeah. Except I don't wear that kind of that jacket shirt on a normal basis. But
yeah, you're a podcaster.
And a diplomat that looks surprised. He looks terrified and surprised with wide eyes. Allie's very good at expressions.
Yes,
on her drawings, very good
I
on
agree.
facial expressions.
I'm getting confirmation that it is not you, Gons.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm relieved. And then it says, "You're going to test me how?" This is regarding the story about China doing, she put, backdoor
COVID testing on American diplomats.
And the diplomats coming out and saying, "We did not approve.
We promise to not do this again." China promises not to force backdoor COVID testing on diplomats. So kind of them.
So nice. Yes. They're doing things backdoor to us in multiple other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that is both metaphorical and literal, if you ask me.
Okay, what's next?
Wow. Did I make you uncomfortable or something?
We got a lot of art to get through, man.
I happen to like this one. This is
a beautiful one. I love it.
It's funny. Okay, the next one.
Very talented. Thank you.
Is from Quantum Solace. I believe this is a picture of a couple Kirbys. One Kirby with googly eyes and a robot arm, a flippy arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a Kirby version of you.
Yep.
And then there's a Kirby version of me with a katana. And it says Revelations. And my katana is slicing through the S.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always there to expertly correct anybody who calls it the Book of Revelations.
Yeah. Don't like that. But very good. I don't know why Kirby. Why Kirby?
I don't know. It's cute, though.
It is cute. So good job. Thank you, Quantum Solace. That's Sol A. And we got a bunch from producer Mike B. I shaved it down to 3, if that's okay with you, Basil. I think he sent like 7 or 8 of them.
Yes, he's very prolific. And it's a good problem to have, having to choose between many pieces of art.
Yes. This first one is, of course, the Golden Trump that we talked about today. And I believe he photoshopped in a crowd that is cheering.
Looks like a worship service.
Yeah.
Like from the back, a worship service crowd, hands up everywhere, worshiping the Golden Trump.
Yes. Very apropos to today's episode. Another one from producer Mike B is the DigiQuomo. DigiQuomo, the police robot dog. This is a robot dog with Cuomo's face attached to it. Kind of creepy. I would be very creeped out. It would really be the end of the world if we started to see an army of DigiQuomos.
That might solve crime in New York.
Yeah, everybody would stop committing crimes. Terrified of DigiQuomo. And DigiQuomo that yells at them, too. and then threatens to do other things. All right, and then one more is I forget this person's name, the trans politician.
Yeah, it's the transgender health official in, I think, Pennsylvania or something.
And the caption is, "Hello, critical theory. Goodbye, critical thinking," which is...
Yeah, although a little correction there, Gons. It says, "Hello, critical theroy."
Oh, theroy. Okay.
I don't know if that's a typo on his end or if that's a clever play on words. I don't know what theroy means, but anyways, there you go. The message stands.
Message makes sense. And last but not least, the return of Magoo, Mr. Magoo.
Oh my gosh, Magoo is back.
With a beautiful hand drawing. There's a tweet bird saying tweet, tweet. I'm going to zoom in here to all the details.
This is great. There's a canary up in the top, tweet, tweet, flying by. Then Gons, you have your curly mustache here, and you say, "Basil, have you seen Magoo?" And I'm next to you here, and I say, "Wait, Gons, what is that in the sky?" And then you look in the sky, in the top right side, it says, "I, Elon, control the Bifrost, the road to Asgard." I guess Magoo knows that I've been watching the Marvel movies here. "All shall bow down to me." And yes, so that actually makes sense. If Elon was in control of the Bifrost, that would explain a lot of things.
And I don't know what it says down here. Another Magoo? I don't know. Something
Yeah,
Magoo.
that's his signature.
Ah, okay. So there's Magoo there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There you go. Another fantastic piece from Mr.
Thank you very
Magoo.
much, Mr. Magoo. We're going to hang it up on the refrigerator so we can all know how proud we are of your skills.
Yes. Next to my daughter's drawings, which I think she's catching up.
Yeah,
As a 3-year-old, she's catching up to Mr. Magoo. Better watch out. She really likes to draw, so we'll get there. All right, that's it. That's all we got for our producership. Are you going to read some reviews right now?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's do it.
We got to go through some reviews here. Now, remember, folks, that first of all, I want to thank all of our producers for this episode 306. Producers Taylor, Danielle, Bing Tango, Cheryl. You have been Bush protected against. Again, Samuel, Lynn, Vladimir, Saul, anonymous XRP donor. Thank you very, very much. And also thank you to our artists. Wonderful part of the show. Now, here's the thing. Leaving ratings and reviews, maybe financial support or artistic support is not in the cards for you. You can still help the show out a ton by leaving reviews. And we got a few great reviews here, and I'm going to zoom through them. First of all is a 5-star review from Rob Levi over on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much. Best news commentary I have ever heard, he says. I know. This is great. I've been a long-time listener to the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel, another great truth seeker program I suggest, and along the way, discovered the Canary Cry Radio /News Talk. Basil and Gons have the perfect blend of sober seriousness and whimsical jokey jokes, and they are a pleasure to listen to. Oh, thanks. The show has it all, reporting the egregious while pointing to Jesus and giving a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on news and world events through the lens of Bible prophecy. Flippy updates, Nephilim talk, the mostly unbiased political commentary I have ever heard. Cats, space lasers, and everything else. I love all of the great interviews they do, from Dr. Michael Heiser and Elie Marzulli to the Silver Guru, David Morgan, and the Crypto Warrior, Brad Cam. I recently showed my wife and daughter the program, and now we watch together. Ooh, he's rattled some cages, Gons.
All right.
And my daughter has even become a producer of the show. Oh, this is producer Rob. Okay. That's right. I forget his daughter's name, but thank you very much. That's right. I said producer. There's no brainwashing advertisements to endure on this program because they are part of the revolutionary value for value model, where the people that watch and love the show support it with their own treasure, time, and talent, and it makes you feel like a part of the show. See, there you go. And I'm glad you feel that way, but it's also not just a feeling.
I was going to say,
more than a feeling.
It's more than a feeling. You are part of the you are part
true.
of building the show. That's the beauty of the model.
Could not do the show without our producers.
Yeah.
It continues, I even did a stroll and found the Joyspiracy Theory channel. Ah, great. Basil's own side project. Love the interviews they do there, also with guest stars like Michael Basham, the grandson of famed preacher Don Basham, and lovable Josh Peck. Baz and Gons are great, and my family loves everything they do to get the truth out there and how they have so much fun doing it. Well, thank you so much, producer Rob. And fun little thing. I think I saw Michael Basham, who is the most recent Joyspiracy Theory thing, which is actually kind of depressing because it came out like a year ago. Michael Basham, I think he's in the chat today. I think he's watching live. At least he was earlier. And he was saying that his YouTube channel got crunched. Yeah, so sorry to hear that, Michael. But if you want to hear from Michael Basham, search the Joyspiracy Theory on Apple Podcasts, and he's the most recent episode. It's a great episode. And, of course, shout out to Josh Pack. So thank you, producer Rob Levi, for the review. Next, we have a 5-star review. Great podcast. This is from BC78 $. Great podcast. I enjoy the informative Christian perspective of this podcast. Headlines that go by unnoticed and seemingly irrelevant when the truth of the Bible is shined on it makes me realize that prophetic events are unfolding daily behind the scenes. Gons and Basil, thank you for your time and effort informing the church of the season we're in. Thank you very much, BC78S. And thank you. He points out they point out something great here, which is, a lot of the stories that we do cover, not a lot of other people cover it. It's really some unnoticed and seemingly irrelevant stories, but being able to put that in the context of the bigger picture as well as Bible prophecy is one of the great values here on the show.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the review.
We appreciate it. And we cover about 15 to 20 stories an episode. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're covering a lot of ground here, and it's nice. It's nice to know that people are getting something out of it. It's not just us rattling off headlines and
well-rounded, biblically grounded.
That's right.
Next, we have a 5-star review from Joby G. Sellout? Looking for something different? Not your typical news talk podcast? If I had to sum it up with one word, Jesus Robot Canary Polatic.
Whew.
Wow, that's a
one
big
word.
I wonder if it's supposed to be a canary, apocalyptic, canarypolictic. I don't know. Jesus Robot Canary Polatic. Thank you very much for that. These guys are definitely not part of the left-right propaganda. Woo! What a great compliment. Just a couple more here. 5 stars from True Skin. What did I just listen to? Just the best podcast ever. Connecting the old switcheroo. Connecting current events, current news and its effect upon you. Basil and Gons combine discernment with exhortation in revealing the machinations of the world in an entertaining, educational, and edifying fashion. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you very much, True Skin.
Yeah, thank you.
And one more here, 5 stars, informative and entertaining. I stumbled upon these informed people discussing the current news and events on YouTube and was intrigued. They create instant camaraderie. There's that word for you, Gons.
Oh, we're all comrades.
Remember you were reading it in an article?
Yeah,
but
it's spelled
so weird.
CORWEF.
Camaraderie.
WGKLLFR.
That's right. See, you got it now. They create instant camaraderie with their listeners by inviting them to be producers, adding listeners, viewers, graphics, art, and jingles, and a chat feature during live streams. Happy I found them, and you will be too. Thank you very much, Fox Thieves, for that review. Right, so there you go. That's all of our reviews for this week, and thank you to everybody who left those reviews. And if you're out there and you have not yet left a review and a rating, please do that. that. It's hard to explain just how important that is. The reviews, if there's a nice constant stream of reviews coming in, the algorithms make sure to share the show with more people who have never heard about it. So maybe you're a little bit, you don't want to freak your friends out too much by telling them about the show directly. If you leave a rating and a review, you are doing your part as a producer to spread the show. So do that. The best place to do that is Apple Podcasts, and then leave a rating and a review for Canary Cry News Talk.
All right.
Okie dokie. I think that's it. Anything else for this this break?
Not that I can think of. Thank you, all of our producers out there, for continuing to help produce the show.
Woo!
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
We forgot to do a headline last episode. Let me do it real quick. It's just reading. I want to start doing this where, oh boy, did I just lose it? Where we basically, we find headlines from a while ago and we just read the headline. I'm not going to read the story to you. You can go do that yourself. I'm just going to read the headline, and because I found it interesting. Okay. And so here's one from thedailymail.co.uk. We missed this one, Basil, in 2018. Uh-oh. Former Freemason, 51, found drunk and naked inside a huge pipe organ with a toy gun and remote-controlled police car, says he got lost while trying to hand out cheeseburgers to the homeless.
Wow. That is a piece of art.
That is the most interesting headline, I think, of 2018 that we missed. So just wanted to make sure.
Can't believe we missed that.
I know. I don't know what was going on over there in Queensland over there, but yep, that's where former Freemasons go retire, I guess, and hand out
retire into a pipe organ.
Yeah. Okay. Some 33 updates.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
33 is the Illuminati dog whistle, and police are after me, apparently. I don't know if you can hear
is that on your side there?
Yeah, it's on my side. Somebody committed crimes.
Uh-oh.
Yes, they use the number 33 in headlines and other ways to signal to each other about what? Not sure, but we know that 33 is used in Freemasonry, 33 degrees of Freemasonry, for one. But for this, we always report on the number of deaths and the number of COVID-related people who got infected and stuff like that. But this is really fascinating. What are the odds that Indiana and Maryland both report not just around the same number of infections on the same day, but the exact number of deaths at 33 on the same day? What are the odds, Basil? So we have this first one here.
I would have no idea what the odds are.
The Baltimore Sun on February 26th reported, Maryland reports 970 new infections, 33 new deaths from coronavirus. On the same day, February 26th, from Fox 59, Indiana reports 963 new corona cases, 33 additional deaths.
That is pretty weird. So Indiana and Maryland had almost the exact number of new infections and the exact number of deaths.
Yeah. That is crazy, isn't it?
What a coinky-dink.
So amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
And not to be outdone, a day later, I think, maybe a couple days later, Athens, 2 days later, 28th, coronavirus, Athens County passes 4,600 cases, 33 total deaths reported. At this point, I think they're just doing it to give us headlines to read.
Yeah, I think so.
They see it as their contributions to the show to get their, their outlet mentioned on another outlet like ours. I'm getting highly suspicious of all these 33s.
Free advertising.
Yeah, well, maybe we're not really advertising them. We're saying no go. The Post Athens. And then this other one here, one more 33 update. This came at the end of February. Leading SA San Antonio, new 2-part documentary showcases the lives of 33 black men in San Antonio.
Oh.
So, Black History Month was coming to an end, so they had to...
Yeah, what a very specific number.
Yeah, just to let them know who's actually in control there. So there you go. Some 33 updates. And let's move on to a interesting story about Eurovision.
Yeah, John.
What would you like to do in the whole world?
Burn it all.
There you go. Go ahead.
Did you watch the Eurovision movie? Came out during quarantine.
Yes,
it was a Will Ferrell movie.
I did watch it. The statues were a little much in that movie.
Oh yes, well, it's a Will Ferrell. If you like Will Ferrell, I thought it was a great Will Ferrell movie, but of course, categorically, some people are not fans of Will Ferrell. But it was about Eurovision, and for those who don't know, Eurovision is a European song contest that they do every year.
Yes,
and it's apparently it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's a really big deal. It's like a way for European countries to sort of establish dominance over one another.
It's like the music Olympics.
It is.
In
Yeah,
Europe.
yeah. So this is coming from nst.com.my. Headline: Cyprus lambasted for satanic Eurovision entry. Cyprus was under pressure on Friday to withdraw its Eurovision Song Contest entry after an anonymous caller threatened to burn down national broadcaster CBC, and an association of religion teachers blasted the tune. The song El Diablo, Spanish for the devil, performed by Greek singer Elena Sangrino, has faced criticism over its title and English lyrics since its release on Wednesday in the island nation, where many people are devoutly Orthodox Christian. On Friday, state broadcaster CBC alerted the police after someone called threatening to burn the building down in protest over the song, the Cyprus news agency reported. Police are said to be investigating the incident. An association representing instructors of religious education in secondary schools issued a statement on Friday urging CBC to ditch the song. Excuse me, the show burps are coming. It's expressed, quote, abhorrence over the song's lyrics, arguing the singer praises Satan, dedicates her life to him, and loves him. The association questioned why CBC had chosen a provocative song of such low quality. That's burn. Instead of one that would promote the culture of Cyprus and Europe. Quote, why is it so difficult to select artists from our island with morality and quality who can promote our culture and musical tradition in international music competitions? The statement said. CBC defended the song on its own statement, saying it had been misinterpreted by critics and that it serves as inspiration for people in toxic relationships. It is about, quote, a girl who is in an exploitative relationship with a freeloader she calls El Diablo, the broadcaster said, adding that the song was inspired by the, quote, eternal struggle of good versus evil. Cyprus is usually and also ran in the Eurovision contest. Oh, that means they don't really get a lot of attention, I think. Cyprus is usually and also ran in the Eurovision contest, set to be held this year in the Netherlands in May. The small Mediterranean country's best finish was in 2018 when it won second place with Eleni Furias Fuego, AFP. There you go. The Cyprus, they had a Satanist sneak in.
The song is produced by Jimmy Joker and Thomas Stengard. Let me read some of the lyrics here. I fell in love. I gave my heart to El Diablo. I gave it up because he tells me I'm his angel. Tonight we gonna burn in a party. We wild as fire that's on the loose, hotter than sriracha on our bodies. Taco tamale, yeah, that's my mood. All this spicy melts my icy edges, baby, it's true. Tonight we're gonna burn in a party. It's heaven and hell with you. Yeah, that's kind of repeats after that. But I could picture a bunch of Orthodox Christians, oh yeah, Cyprus, here we go. And then I fell in love with El Diablo, and they're like, what?
I like how sriracha gets a mention.
Sriracha. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how we are calling out cancel culture in the U.S. right now on different fronts. Mm-hmm. But this is its own form of cancel culture. It's just who's in, the dominant position of culture.
Yeah, well, that was kind of, we pointed this out a while back here.
We did.
That, the cancel culture thing, as much as it's disliked now, and of course it's a bit out of control from a lot of perspectives, but, Christians were kind of the original cancel culture. You remember? Yep. In my childhood, at least, if enough Christians didn't like a TV show or something, they could get it canceled.
Yeah, but there was no social media, so it wasn't as it wasn't viral the same way. But right. It was. I suppose the only difference is back then it was more of a commitment, a public sort of commitment to not support something. Whereas now it's more like you will never make money from this career ever again. Go
you're
away.
Right. It's definitely different. You're right. I don't want to draw too close of a connection, especially when, we were kids. In order to cancel culture something, you had to get thousands of churches on board to write letters and send in letters.
Yeah. And you needed a lot of people to participate in the ignoring of a product or a movie or whatever it was. But now it's a small group of people that are outraged, and then just, career consequences from those small number of people on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. These kids nowadays, they got it easy. Back in my day, we had to write letters to get something canceled.
Okay, so there's that. It's satanic. So I wonder what's going to happen. What if? I wonder if the citizens of Cyprus would accept it if the song does well. They're like, oh, they're going to go into the finals. Would they be okay with it? Or no?
You mean if they started winning?
Yeah, if they started moving up the charts.
I don't know.
They'd be torn.
Will say, Eurovision is kind of one of those things I wish that I knew more about, or that I was like, I cared more about. It seems like a fun thing to, just kind of get into. At least after watching the Will Ferrell movie, I kind of understood it a little more.
Yeah, well, that was good. A childhood dream come true for Eurovision, the movie. Okay, here's another thing here that we mentioned earlier that we're going to talk about now. It's about Bill Gates.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. Right into the vein.
So this has to do with Bill Gates and Bitcoin, Yahoo Finance. Bitcoin uses more electricity than any method known to man, says Bill Gates.
Liar!
Yeah, it's not true.
Yeah. Microsoft founder Bill Gates is concerned about Bitcoin's impact on climate change. Quote, Bitcoin uses more electricity per transaction than any other method known to mankind, Gates told CNBC's Andrew Sorkin in a live streamed Clubhouse session on Wednesday. Clubhouse taken over.
Jeez.
I know. Researchers at Cambridge have found that by consuming over 121.36 terawatts per hour a year, Bitcoin electricity consumption is more than the whole of Argentina. In fact, some critics have argued that the electric car company like Tesla invested $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. It unwittingly may have undermined its environmental image. Why it matters, Gates went on to tell Sorkin that there was a more efficient way of doing digital currency that wouldn't require such high usage of electricity. Gates seemed to hint that the digital currency might be in the works at his foundation. Oh, goody!
Oh, perfect!
Yay! Bill Gates money. Give me Bill Gates dollars. Bill Gates coin. Billy coin.
What he's really mad at, the interesting angle on this is that, Bill Gates hates Bitcoin because it uses so much energy. It uses so much energy because of the decentralized nature. So when he's talking about, you can make a digital currency that doesn't use so much energy, he's talking about a centralized cryptocurrency, which of course he is. And of course, that's what he wants.
Yeah. And in the chat here, Bill, what is it? Mitier? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling back up. I apologize. On the screen here. Oh, I must have missed it. He basically brought up the patent 060606. That's a Microsoft patent. I don't think it's specifically Bill Gates.
No. Yeah.
And we covered that last year. And again, it has to do with controlling the mining from bio signals. And it has to do with a lot of centralized control, not so much decentralized. But anyway, it's whoever's in Bill Gates' ear, not giving him good information, especially because, according to this University of Cambridge study here, or Cambridge, I don't know, Cambridge.
I think it's Cambridge.
Center for Alternative
I'm an American.
Finance.
What do I know?
Yeah, Center for Alternative Finance here. Total world production and consumption. Total electricity production. Bitcoin represents 0.52%. Total electricity consumption, Bitcoin represents 0.59. And so it's not much at all. And of course, if you look at the, country ranking, yes, it does use more terawatts per hour per year, or I guess singular terawatt per hour per year, than Ukraine and Argentina, just under Sweden and Malaysia. But like you said, there's a decentralized nature to this, which means that it's not just one source of energy consumption. And if you look at there's somebody produced this chart here, and I haven't had enough time to nail down exactly where this comes from, but basically it's the electrical energy consumption, the TWH per year established from different sectors of money, of finances. Okay.
Yeah.
Bitcoin sits at 60 TWH per year. And I think it might be a little higher now because of the fact that, the network has grown. Because I think this Cambridge thing says it's up to 129. So yes, it is higher than it was when this chart was made. But gaming is pretty high. It's just under 100. Gold mining is at 200.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, the banking system itself is like 10 times higher when it comes to energy, electrical energy.
650 terawatts a year versus 100 for Bitcoin.
Right. So what are you talking about, Bill Gates?
Yeah.
At least know your stuff if you're going to make these claims.
He's just spouting nonsense. Yes. And that's what it is with these institutional guys. Notice how no billionaires want crypto. Well, now it's a little different with Elon, but originally, up until recently, billionaires hated Bitcoin because they don't have any, and they're already rich. Why would they want a different kind of money when they're already the richest men in the world? We don't want anybody else getting any money. If I'm left out of the club, then the club is evil.
Yeah, obviously. And we can't track you. Remember the Bill Gates quote about how his digital currency that they use in third world nations with vaccines and stuff, we can track every transaction and we can refund people. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
exactly. No, that's totalitarian, Bill.
Yeah,
that's satanic, Bill.
Well,
that's demonic power, Bill.
Okay.
Demonic power.
What, are you afraid that Bill's going to come knocking on your door, Basil?
No, I mean, I don't think cryptocurrency is necessarily satanic. But
no, not cryptocurrencies. Bill Gates' currency. His digital currency that he wants to track everybody's financial records with.
Well, it's certainly not cool. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's beast system, Bill. All right. I'm using this platform to talk to Bill Gates, who will never listen to me. I'm just like a fly.
Bill loves the show. He listens all the time.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. We have a couple deep fake things here to go over.
We are in deep fake.
And this was really interesting. EsquireMe.com. Think you can stop deepfake? These Tom Cruise TikToks will test you. And it says here, five days ago, a mysterious account appeared on TikToks featuring video of actor Tom Cruise. In the three posted, Cruise is seen golfing, doing magic tricks, and tripping in a men's clothing store, all while telling stories and talking directly into the camera. And I think this is there's a a famous Tom Cruise impressionist. And I think he's the one behind the account. But, it was a pretty good deep fake. I was very, we talked about it a couple episodes ago where we were like, hey, it's getting pretty good. I mean, this is another level up in terms of clarity here. I'm going to play this clip. It's more of a visual thing, obviously. For those of you just listening, just go to canarycrynewstalk.com, look for the story so you can actually watch the video clip. But this is from TikTok here. Tom Cruise deep fake doing a magic trick. And it's not going to play. Okay, not going to play on my thing. Good job. Good job, TikTok. Maybe this one will play. Play? No? Oh, man. That's a bummer.
Oh, no.
It's not playing.
They knew. They didn't want us to
they didn't
give
want
away
us to
their
do it.
deep fake secrets.
Maybe it's because I have some kind of shielding going on my thing here. Let me see if I can turn off some shields here.
Yeah, none of my stuff is letting any TikTok stuff come through.
Oh, yeah. Well, TikTok is Chinese operated, so maybe that's why. Let's see here. Oh, now there's not even an image to be shown.
Maybe there's a YouTube. Did they put it on YouTube somewhere?
Maybe. Hold on. Let's see if this works. There we go.
I'm going to show you some magic.
Ooh.
It's the real thing. I mean, it's all the real thing.
So creepy.
It's super creepy. Oh, I don't like those videos that popped up on the next TikTok thing. So I don't like TikTok there.
Get your TikToks away from me. Yeah. So the long and short of it is that these deep fakes are pretty incredible. I mean, it's weird because it seems like every week we're talking about how deep fakes are getting better and better. And it's because they are. It like on a weekly basis, there are more convincing deep fakes coming out. And yeah, the timeline that we had set out for deep fakes becoming a real problem, it just seems to be getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah. And, I actually played this for one of my daughters, the one that can understand what's going on, the older daughter and mother-in-law last night. And my mother-in-law couldn't tell that it was a deep fake.
Totally.
She was like, why is he doing magic tricks? And I'm like, aha.
Yeah. No, if you're not paying attention, especially with this one, I mean, it's very convincing. A couple of little weird things that if you have a trained eye, you can tell. Again, with the mouth movements, which is kind of where we got hung up on Joe Biden's deep fake too.
Right.
It's big smiles and things like that. You can get a little wonky. But other than that, I mean, this is pretty incredible work. A very talented 16-year-old getting at the deep fake machine here.
Well, I don't know if this guy's 16, but whoever he is, he's doing a great job.
Do you know who it is?
Faking out the world. Let's see the Esquire article here.
Because most people making deep fakes are 16. That's just facts.
Is it really?
Yeah.
If you're concerned, tech experts are even worried about the trend. It's another trend person talking.
Well, don't worry, Gons, because deep fakes are not all evil, as that kid last week showed us.
Oh, yeah.
Over here on Forbes.com, we got a nice headline, Cool and Creepy. Genealogy site animates ancestors with deep fake technology. I didn't meet my father-in-law until he was 72 years old, so I never really knew what he looked like as a young man. Sure, we have old black and white photos of Otto Gunst, but old snapshots don't give a sense of the way he was. Now, a genealogy website has provided me with a fascinating glimpse at him in his 30s by animating photos using so-called deepfake artificial intelligence. MyHeritage.com lets you upload static pictures of people and then animates that image, creating a short, eerily lifelike video of the person blinking, looking around, smiling slightly. The feature, called Deep Nostalgia, is also a brilliant marketing tool for the site, which sells genealogy and DNA testing services. You must create a free account to upload images for animating, and that account can then be used with its other features. Deep Nostalgia is the latest product to set up shop in what's known as the Uncanny Valley, where technologically generated images and simulations of people look real, but aren't quite right. Once you have signed up for an account, you can upload several images for free before you're required to pay a premium for the account. MyHeritage doesn't specify how many freebies you get. Deep Nostalgia uses AI technology from an Israeli company called DID, which has a
Israelis, they're just on top of all this stuff.
They really are. DID, which has a software suite that can create talking heads from still photos. There's no audio generated with the Deep Nostalgia images. You can see a demo of this technology on a promotional video featuring Abraham Lincoln. Once you've uploaded the image, the site enhances it, then applies AI to animate the face. The movements are based on a set of drivers, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. So there you go. This is, again, another step in the saga of reanimating our ancestors, make them available to talk to through chatbots and see them move as if they were still alive. And this is not quite the creepiest thing we've ever seen done with deep fakes. But when you consider the trajectory towards, I don't know, it's almost like a time travel trajectory. You know, this obsession with our ancestors, people past, reanimating them, whether to talk to them in a chat bot and get their advice, or just see them wiggle their head around, like here at myheritage.com. These deep fakes in particular are not too convincing, but it is an interesting step forward into the reanimation of ancestors.
Yeah. And I think we will see more of this in a type of a cultural shift with postcards and as a lot of things go digital, we'll probably see a lot more of this kind of thing where you literally have animated genealogies. And this goes in line with what Ray Kurzweil, former exec at Google, and the guy who said we're going to become gods by implanting microchips in our brains, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he was talking about that stuff. He wants to resurrect his father.
Yeah.
And so he kept all of his father's writings and pictures, and he's got this whole shrine built to his father. Mm-hmm. And, you listen to him talk about it, it's very sad. It's interesting how someone who doesn't have a biblical worldview is clinging so hard into this idea of resurrecting and bringing back his father in this world. It's a fascinating thing to think that, and he thinks he's going to pull it off.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the interesting thing about it. Dr. Failtastic on YouTube says the way Basil is putting it makes it sound like digital necromancy. And, you know, that might be an exaggerated way to put it, but it's the same spirit behind it. Which, like, specifically with Ray Kurzweil, I mean, he very much does have sort of like a esoteric drive to reincarnate his father, or
it's a weird thing, or
reanimate him. Yeah. And then, of course, Proverbs over on YouTube says it is like Harry Potter. That occurred to me too, for those who have seen the Harry Potter movies. Pictures, like for instance, in the newspaper, they have moving pictures in the newspaper. It very much is reminiscent to this particular little video they have on this article here.
Yeah, this one of Mary Shelley down here is pretty creepy too. The one from February 28th, 1821.
Yeah.
And she's moving around her head a little bit.
I've seen this. Yeah, people are adding this or using this tool on like Renaissance paintings and stuff. And that is also very much like a Harry Potter movie.
It's definitely Harry Potter, yeah. And I don't know if I want to see that kind of thing in the future, And
I mean, it's entertaining as just like a fun little entertainment moment. It's a fun little snippet if you're looking for 3 seconds of novelty. But at the same time, it is very much. I mean, it's not the actual video itself that is nefarious. It's this cultural spirit of, we must reincarnate our ancestors. We have so much to learn from them. So we'll use technology and AI to create something from their image and from their information in order to, gain some benefit, which, if you really want to get esoteric with it, it's a certain type of necromancy. It's a certain type of divination, getting an AI chat bot to give you advice or to consult with it. It's maybe a little bit of exaggerated at this point where the tech is currently sitting. But it's only a matter of time before the tech catches up to the desires of men.
Well, even with with the clip we have of People Zoo here,
I'll keep you warm and safe in my People Zoo.
That is a robot of, I keep forgetting. Is it Arthur C. Clarke?
Yeah.
So it's like a deceased author living on with an AI chip that was concocted from his memories and from his writings and stuff like that. So that kind of thing has already been there, but to have it available to the general public. And then when you think about our generation since the internet, it's already weird. We've talked about this before. It's already kind of strange when people pass away and their Twitter account or Facebook account is still there and people are still posting stuff on there like, hey, we miss you and whatever. What the kind of world that is going to emerge in this century, lest the Lord returns, it's really strange, and it really has a disturbing quality to it. And I want to end the show with a 1-minute clip of a joke that was given by the comedian Norm Macdonald. Do you know Norm Macdonald, comedian? He used to do Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
The weekend updates back when Saturday Night Live was less political.
Yeah.
He has this joke that, I'm just going to let him tell it because, comedians sometimes hit on truths that they may not even realize how true it is.
What about in the old days when they took pictures of you way back, where they pulled that thing and exploded and stuff? I got a picture of my great-grandfather. The thing took 6 hours to take your picture, and there's a picture of my great-grandfather, one. Every guy had one picture back then. And it's just him like... I gotta get back, feed them hogs. Who's gonna feed the hogs? Somebody gotta feed them hogs. Now, in the future, of course, it'll be different. 50 years from now, people will be going like, hey, you want to see 100,000 pictures of my great-grandfather? I got him right here, plus everything he did every day of his life.
It's a joke, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of true. And not just 100,000 pictures, but hey, you want to see like a reanimated? You want to meet my dad, my deceased
you want to
grandfather?
talk to my chat bot, my grandpa chat bot? We uploaded all of his social media posts and all of his podcasts into this AI, so you can just talk to old Grampy Basil.
The AI Grampy Basil.
Yeah.
Oh boy. How do we make sure that we don't get turned into that? Because here we are.
It's out of our hands.
Is it really?
It's out of our hands. Your children will be making the decision for you.
Well, I'm going to teach my child to destroy the machine.
Yeah, the samurai, post-apocalyptic samurai ninja princess.
Yeah, well, she's got her thing. I got a whole army over here now.
I know.
It's going down.
A little assassin team. Fire squad.
It will kill.
Fire. Okie dokie. Well, I think that's all we have for the day. What do you think?
That's it? Yep. You got anything else?
No, that's all I got.
we got through an entire episode with, we kind of had a peripheral Waxine conversation, but without an official Waxine update. I think it's like the first one in a while where we didn't directly talk about what was going on with the vaccines and the virus, and I purposely tried to do that because I know it's still out there. People are still talking about it, and there's a lot to uncover and a lot to cover in terms of that. But sometimes you just need a break from all that pandy stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll be back on Wednesday. And
we'll be back Wednesday with 35 stories about the pandemic.
Whatever there is to catch up on, we'll catch up on it. And that's right, folks. Put it on your calendar. Turn on notifications. Don't miss the show on Wednesday, March 3rd. Okay? You listen to me. What?
It's 3-3.
Ooh. 3-3, the day before Trump's inauguration. So make sure to tune in then. Again, we'll be circling back on Wednesday, March 3rd, sometime in the morning there, Pacific Standard Time. So thank you for tuning into this episode. Now, remember, we're going to need some producers for the show on the 3rd. So thank you to all of our producers today. And if you're out there and you're starting to get it, you're starting to understand the value for value model, it really is the only way that things are going to move forward, not just with this show, but you're going to see it a lot more often because even the big outlets are starting to realize that they are held hostage by the advertisers. And, that's all part of cancel culture. That's one of the great things about the value for value model, Guns. You and I, we can't get canceled. We're cancel proof.
This is the way.
That's right. So pray about it. If the Lord moves, please consider becoming a producer of the show. It is the only way that the show is able to continue. So if you want to be a part of that, and again, I mean, it's not just a gimmick. You become an actual producer. Some people put it on their bios. You can put it on your LinkedIn there. And it is the only way. It's the only way. So we're all going to have to figure it out sometime. But if you want to get on and become a producer for Wednesday's show, that would just be fantastic. You can do that by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT. Or if you're one of the cool kids, head over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right, folks. canarycryradio.com/support. And once again, if you're in the chat, make sure to thank a producer. Have you thanked a producer today? You need to do that. Okay. There's other ways to help out the show. You can become a producer by creating art, by creating jingles or music. You can send all of that into canarycryradio@protonmail.com if you like your privacy, or canarycryradio@gmail.com if you like it easy.
Whoop, sorry.
Oh, I thought you had a new jingle you were revealing at the end of the show here.
Yeah, I clicked on an old Adam Curry presentation talking about the value for value model back in 2012.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put a link to that so people can.
It's there. It's at canarycryradio.com/support.
Yeah,
it's a
cool.
hyperlink to value for value model. He does use a few choice words, so just ignore that. But otherwise, the message there is, just understanding what it's all about.
Yeah,
from the Podfather, the man who invented podcasting.
Yeah, exactly. And I see some people wondering why super chats aren't enabled. That's because that's corporate money. There are no super chats. This isn't easy, folks. If the value for value model were easy, then YouTube wouldn't have the ability to demonetize or ban us. And that's not the case. Of course, we are demonetized on YouTube, so super chats is not going to work. But become a producer over at canarycryradio.com/support.
By the way, YouTube needs to give me their tax info for last year. I haven't gotten my tax stuff. Come on, YouTube.
Come on,
I know they shut down my AdSense last year in June, which is still under review 7 months, 8 months later, 9 months later. But I
well, now they can put ads on your video and not even have to pay you any money.
I know. It's ridiculous.
I know. All right,
guys.
So there you go. Become a producer because Gons is mad at YouTube. If you're looking for another reason, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, you can also leave ratings and reviews. It's very important. I know it sounds trivial, but it is very important for podcasters like us. Head over to Apple Podcasts, search out Canary Cry News Talk, leave a rating and a review. Very important. And thank you to all of our reviewers that we read today. Always very special for us to read those reviews. And Gons and I, we read all of them, and you'll make it on the show. So please go do that. And lastly, if you haven't done it yet, you got friends, you got family, they're all starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. You can't avoid it now. And they might be looking for a friendly, straightforward, Jesus-centered place to continue to explore really what's going on in the world. And we think that this show is a pretty good spot for them. So go ahead and share the show with them. Just send them an episode. Send them this episode. Send them a different episode. Just make sure to go ahead and rattle their cage. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. All right, Gons, any last words?
No.
Good. Remember to circle back around, folks. We're going to circle back on Wednesday, the 3rd of March, 2021. So be here to enjoy that with us. And let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't nail it down.
S-Ray Cook in the chat. The golden toes of Trump, the 10 toes, and the statue, and Daniel. That's a good one. That's a good connection there. Good job. I didn't think of that.
Okay. They did put 10 toes, not 6 toes, though. So.
Well, no, but the toes are part of the statue that they described. Anyway. Next episode, we'll touch on
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until then, think outside the cage.
This guy comes to my house. He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies and melt those babies into candles, their skin, and that's supposed to give them more demonic power. And these Satanists came to my house, 5 of them, and threatened my life.
Look it up.
You can't handle the truth.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Do pot. That's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody
magic mushrooms.
Smoke. The CIA, I mean, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt. Fluoride, oxytocin. Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like. It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
All right, weird.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all away.
Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way. Don't let them drain you all the way.
Left wing, right wing, 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 left wing, right wing.
Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Two wings, same bird. Same bird.
Polly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politic.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politicians are politics.
Don't let them drain you all the way. 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 Don't let them drain you all the way.
There's nothing to watch on my color TV. None of the snooze is what I want to see. I try tuning in to my radio. None of this talk is really quite the show for me. Finding good news is really quite the pain. Gotta find something I ain't got all day. Get on my YouTube, debates like the sun. See what's new, demonetization. Know what's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Couldn't it read? Cry radio, cry, news talk, radio,
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on. You're fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you, yeah, you, in my people's zoo.
I tried to tell you. Science is truth. Aliens. Aliens.